Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News. Fans, the sun dipped low across the California vineyard, painting the sky in soft gold as the women gathered for what they thought would be a simple group date. But nothing on The Golden Bachelor ever stayed simple, especially not when Mel Owens was involved. The camera panned across the patio where glasses of sparkling rosé shimmered in the twilight. The contestants chatted, but one person looked especially distracted. Cindy, sitting a little off to the side, gently twisting the ring on her finger. She had sensed something shifting between her and Mel, something exciting but uncertain, like a door left slightly ajar. Then Mel appeared. With his confident but kind smile, the kind that always made the women blush, he greeted everyone, yet his eyes kept flicking towards Cindy. Producers noticed. The camera noticed, and so did the rest of the women. Peg leaned over to Marlene. "Do you see that?" she whispered. "Girl, yes. He's looking at her like she's the dessert tray." Everyone laughed, except Cindy, who suddenly felt her heart thumping. Mel lifted a hand. "Ladies, tonight's date is about connection and understanding what truly matters, so I have a little surprise." A murmur rippled through the group. But before anyone could move, he did something none of them expected. He walked straight toward Cindy. The camera zoomed in. Peg's jaw dropped. Marlene froze mid-sip. Mel stopped in front of Cindy and offered his hand. "Cindy, may I speak with you first?" A gasp rolled through the patio. Everyone had assumed the private questions would be random or at least evenly spread out. But Mel choosing someone intentionally? That was new. Cindy stood slowly, her breath catching. "Of course," she whispered. Mel guided her toward a quiet corner of the vineyard, beneath an arch of soft twinkling lights. The producers scrambled to follow, tripping over wires. Once they were out of earshot, Mel took a deep breath. Something serious hovered in his eyes. Something vulnerable. "Cindy," he said carefully, "I've been carrying something with me these past few days. Something I can't shake." Her pulse raced. "What do you mean?" Mel pulled out a small folded note from his jacket. "This," he said. "This is a message I wrote for you. I wasn't sure if I should give it to you tonight or at all, but after today's group date, I realized I had to." Cindy stared at him, stunned. "Mel, what is it?" He gently placed the note in her hands. "Read it when you're alone, but I want you to know it's honest, and it might change how you see everything happening here." Her fingers trembled. "Mel, you're scaring me." She half laughed, half cried. He stepped a little closer. No, it's nothing bad. I think it's time I'm honest about who I feel the strongest connection with." The world froze for Cindy. The lights felt brighter, the night air felt warmer. "Mel, are you saying—" Before she could finish, Mel gently brushed her hand with his thumb, so tenderly it sent shivers up her arm. "I'm not saying anything until you read that note," he whispered, "because those words, those are from my heart. Not from the cameras, not from the producers, from me." Behind them, the women watched from afar, whispering, speculating, shaking their heads. Peg whispered, "Well, that's it. Cindy just took the lead." Marlene sighed dramatically. "Honey, she didn't take the lead. Mel handed it to her on a silver platter." Back under the archway, Cindy's eyes glistened. "Thank you," she whispered. "Whatever's in this note, I'll take it seriously." Mel noted, his voice soft. "I know you will, and that's why I wrote it." They walked back toward the group, but everyone could feel the shift in the air. The dynamic had changed, the energy had changed. Mel had changed the game with one private message. As Cindy slipped the folded note into her pocket, she felt the weight of it, the promise, the danger, the possibility. And the episode ended on the cliffhanger that sent Golden Bachelor fans screaming at their screens. Cindy sits alone in her room, opens the note, her eyes widen, her hand flies to her mouth, and the screen
stretched long after the group date ended, but for Cindy, sleep felt impossible. She sat on the edge of her bed in the mansion, the soft glow of the bedside lamp creating long shadows on the wall. In her hand was the note Mel had given her, still folded, still unexplained, still heavy with meaning. All around her, the other women settled into their rooms, whispering theories and concerns. Peg paced the hallway outside, muttering to Marlene, "I swear, if Mel gave her some kind of love letter, I'm packing my bags. I didn't come here at my age to play background character." Marlene replied, "Girl, I brought 2 wigs, 3 dresses, and 0 patience. If Mel's heart is already set, he needs to say it." But Cindy heard none of it. Her hands were shaking as she gently unfolded the note. Her breath trembled. Her eyes scanned the first lines, and the world seemed to slow. The note. "Cindy, I have been surprised by you, more than you know. You bring a calm into the room that steadies me, even when cameras are everywhere and the pressure is high. I don't want to mislead anyone and I don't want to rush you, but I need you to know I feel closer to you than anyone else here. Mel." It wasn't long. It wasn't poetic. But it was real. It was direct. And it was dangerous in an environment where every rose mattered. Cindy exhaled shakily and clasped the note in both hands. She felt a swirl of emotions: excitement, fear, disbelief, and something much deeper. But the moment was shattered by a knock. 3 soft taps. Cindy quickly refolded the note and tucked it under her pillow. "Come in," she called. The door creaked open, revealing Peg, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Cindy blinked. "Peg, are you okay?" Peg stepped inside and closed the door behind her. "Look, I'm going to be honest. Some of the women are upset and confused, and I'm one of them." Cindy felt her stomach tighten. Peg sighed and sat on the edge of the bed. "Listen, I'm not here to fight. We're grown women, not high schoolers. But tomorrow things are going to get messy. Producers are already stirring the pot." Cindy's heart sank. "Peg, I never wanted drama." Peg gave a soft, tired laugh. "Nobody wants drama, sweetie, but on this show, drama finds you." She reached for the door but paused. "For what it's worth, Mel looks at you differently. I've been around men long enough to see that kind of thing from a mile away." Cindy blinked, taken off guard. Peg added, "Just be ready. Whatever's in that note, it's about to change how everyone plays this game." And she left. The room fell silent again. Cindy pressed a hand to her forehead. She knew tomorrow's group activities, the interviews, the confessionals, everything would be colored by this secret message. Outside her window, a distant camera light blinked in the dark like a warning. The next morning, the women gathered at the breakfast table, trying to act casual, but the tension was so thick it could have been cut with a butter knife. Mel arrived shortly after. The room stilled. His eyes instinctively sought Cindy's, and that was all it took. Peg noticed. Marlene noticed. The producers noticed. Mel clapped his hands together. "Ladies, today we're having a special activity." But he didn't finish, because Peg suddenly stood up. "Mel, before we start anything, I think we deserve clarity about yesterday, about why Cindy was chosen first, and about what you gave her." Cindy froze. Mel blinked, stunned. "Peg?" Peg lifted her chin. "We're all here for the same reason, but if someone already has your heart, then we should know. Now." The entire room went silent. Cindy felt her pulse hammering in her throat. Mel took a breath, looked at Cindy, and said, "Cindy and I need to talk privately, right now." The room exploded with gasps, protests, questions, but Mel didn't look at anyone else. He extended his hand. "Cindy, please," he said warmly. And Cindy knew. Her life on The Golden Bachelor was about to
Cindy
change
followed Mel through the
forever.
mansion's quiet hallway, aware of every pair of eyes burning into her back. The cameras trailed them, footsteps echoing. The air felt charged, like the moment before a storm breaks open. They stopped at a small sitting room, decorated with plush armchairs and soft golden lighting. Mel closed the door gently behind them. For a moment, nothing. Just silence. Just two people trying to steady their hearts. Then, Mel spoke. "Cindy, I didn't want to do this in front of everyone. I didn't want to embarrass you or cause tension." She looked down at her hands. "Mel, people are upset. They think I did something." He stepped closer, his expression earnest, almost pained. "You didn't do anything wrong," he assured her. "I did. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know." He sighed. "This process is harder than I thought. I wrote that note because I wanted you to have something real from me, something unfiltered." Cindy swallowed. "Mel, when I read it, I felt..." He gently raised a hand. "Before you tell me what you felt, I need to tell you something first." Her breath caught. Mel took a seat across from her, elbows on his knees, eyes focused entirely on her. "The producers told me yesterday to spread my attention evenly, to make sure everyone felt included. But when you walked into the vineyard last night," he shook his head softly, "I couldn't look away." Cindy blinked, stunned. Mel continued, voice low, heartfelt. "Cindy, you have a presence, a calm, a warmth. Do you know how rare that is? Especially here, with all these lights, all this pressure." Cindy felt tears sting at the corners of her eyes. Mel leaned back, searching for words. "The note wasn't planned. I wrote it at 2 a.m. I didn't know if I'd give it to you." He laughed under his breath. I thought it might scare you off." She shook her head. "It didn't. It scared me in a different way. It made me feel chosen. And I haven't felt that in a long time." Mel looked at her with softness in his eyes, something deeper than what he'd shown on camera so far. "I want to be honest with you. I'm developing feelings for you faster than I expected. Faster than I should." The air tightened. Cindy's voice was barely a whisper. "Then why does it feel like you're trying to pull away when you get close?" Mel's shoulders dropped. The question hit something tender. "Because," he said quietly, "I'm afraid." He paused. "Afraid I might hurt the others, afraid I might make the wrong choice, afraid I might fall for you too quickly." Cindy's breath hitched. No scripts, no producer influence, just a man admitting the truth. She took a seat beside him, gently placing her hand over his. "Mel, you're not supposed to protect everyone. You're supposed to follow where your heart points, even if it points faster toward one person." He looked at their hands, surprised by her strength, by her clarity. Then he said something that changed everything. "Cindy, after last night, I realized something. If this were real life, no cameras, no competition..." He took a breath, voice full of vulnerability. "I would have asked you out again today." Cindy's heart tumbled. Her eyes widened. "Mel!" He turned fully toward her. "I know this is a show. I know the cameras are rolling. But what I feel, it's not scripted. And I need to know..." He paused, searching her eyes. "Do you feel it too?" The room held its breath. Cindy's voice trembled, but her answer was steady. "Yes, I do." Mel exhaled, like he'd been holding the air in his lungs for days. But before they could say another word, a loud knock shook the door. Mel and Cindy both jumped.
The producer's voice echoed from the hallway. "Mel, we need you in the interview room. Now." Cindy froze. Mel clenched his jaw. "Just 1 more minute." But the producer insisted. "Mel, it's urgent." Mel looked at Cindy with regret. "I'm sorry. I have to go." He squeezed her hand gently. "We're not done, I promise." He slipped out the door, and Cindy was left alone in the quiet sitting room, emotions swirling. She didn't know what the urgent interview was for. She didn't know why the producers looked panicked. She didn't know that drama was already brewing among the other women outside. And she definitely didn't know that Mel was about to make the most controversial confession
Mel walked down
of the
hallway
season.
toward the interview room, shoulders tense, face set. Cindy watched him disappear, completely unaware that the next few minutes would set the entire house on fire. Inside the interview room, bright lights glared from every angle. A mic tech rushed over, clipping the mic to his shirt, while a producer named Harper, usually calm, always polite, looked unusually serious. "Mel," she began carefully, "some of the women are upset." He sighed. "I figured. But that's not the only reason we called you in." She exchanged a quick glance with another producer. "Last night's footage, the note, your interaction with Cindy, it's raising questions about your intentions." Mel raised an eyebrow. "My intentions? I'm being honest and following my feelings. Isn't that the entire point of the show?" Harper folded her arms. "Yes, but you're supposed to explore connections with everyone, not just one." Mel leaned forward, voice firm. "I didn't choose who my heart responded to, and I'm not going to manufacture feelings I don't have." The room went still. Another producer tapped his notepad. "We need to understand, is Cindy your frontrunner?" Mel looked down for a moment, then looked up with surprising clarity. "She is. And I think everyone in that house already knows." The producers froze. Harper's expression flickered between concern and relief. "Mel, you just changed the game." He shrugged gently. "I'm not here to play a game." But just as he stood to leave, Harper stopped him. "Before you walk out there, you should know something. Peg is rallying the other women. They're planning to confront both you and Cindy." Mel's jaw tightened. "Confront her? Why would they confront her? She's done nothing wrong." "That doesn't matter," Harper said softly. "Jealousy doesn't work on logic." Mel exhaled sharply, running his hair through his hair. "I need to fix this." "But," Harper shook her head, "you can't fix it yet, not until me film your group announcement." Mel blinked. "Announcement? What announcement?" She smiled a little, one of those brace-yourself smiles. "We need you to address what's going on. You can't hide it anymore." Meanwhile, back in the living room, the other women gathered in a tight circle, energy buzzing. Peg was pacing again, hands on her hips. "He pulled her again, during breakfast, right in front of us." Marlene nodded. "He didn't even look at anyone else. The man practically tripped trying to get to her." Janice chimed in. "And she didn't deny anything. She just walked with him like nothing was wrong." Peg's voice dropped into a sharp whisper. "If Mel is already choosing her, then we're wasting our time." Marlene leaned in. "Then maybe we should tell him that." Peg straightened. "Oh, I'm planning to." But just then, Cindy walked into the room. And the temperature dropped like someone opened a freezer door. All conversation stopped. All eyes turned. Cindy froze in place. Peg crossed her arms. "Well, look who's back." Cindy swallowed. "Peg, I don't want any trouble." Peg smiled politely, the kind of smile that hides a storm. "Oh, honey, trouble's already here." The tension was thick enough to slice. Marlene stepped closer. "We just want to know the truth. Is Mel giving you special treatment?" Cindy's voice trembled. "I didn't ask for any of this. I didn't know he was going to choose me first yesterday. And the note." The room gasped. Peg raised an eyebrow. "Ah, so there was a note." Cindy's face went pale. She instantly regretted the slip. Peg stepped in front of her. "Cindy, what did the note say?" Cindy clutched her hands. "I'm not sharing something personal on camera." Peg scoffed. "Funny, because everything else seems to be happening on camera just fine." Cindy's eyes watered. "Please, this is hard enough." Peg opened her mouth to fire off another shot, but the producers entered the room suddenly. "Ladies, we need everyone outside for a house meeting. Now." Everyone exchanged looks. Cindy's pulse raced. Peg muttered under her breath, "This is it. He's choosing her." The backyard gathering. The women filed out onto the patio, confusion mixing with dread. The camera crew was fully set up. Multiple angles, boom mics, lighting stands. Something big was coming. Then, Mel walked onto the patio and didn't stand in the center of the group. He walked straight to Cindy. The women collectively gasped. "Are you joking right now?" Mel gave Cindy a reassuring glance, then turned to the group. He took a breath. "I know there's tension. I know some of you are upset, and I want to address that openly." The women leaned in. Cindy's heart pounded. Mel continued. "I wrote Cindy a personal note last night, something honest, and I want you all to know that." The group erupted. "What? You wrote her a note? This is favoritism. You can't do that." Peg threw her hands up. "Mel, this is unbelievable." Mel raised a hand to quiet them. "I'm telling you because I want to be transparent. I didn't want secrecy, and I didn't want the woman I wrote to feel attacked behind her back." Peg huffed. "Well, she should have thought about that before pulling you aside every chance." Mel cut her off sharply. "Peg, I pulled her aside, not the other way around." The patio went dead silent. Mel turned to the group again. "And yes, Cindy is someone I feel a strong connection with. Stronger than I expected." Peg blinked rapidly, stunned. Marlene's mouth dropped open. Janice whispered, "Oh my Lord." Mel took Cindy's hand, gently, publicly, and said the words that would set the internet on fire. "I'm not ready to say she's the one, but she's the one I'm thinking about the most." The reaction was explosive. Half the women stormed off. Peg shook her head in disbelief. Cindy stood frozen, heart racing, trying to process everything. But before anyone could calm down, a producer rushed onto set, panicked, whispering something into Mel's ear. His face changed instantly. Fear, shock, confusion. Cindy touched his arm. "Mel, what's wrong?" Mel whispered back, "Cindy, your daughter just called the show."